Let's talk about a contradiction in the Bible. Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. If we look at 2 Kings chapter 9, verses 27 and 28, narrate the death of the Israelite king Ahaziah at the hands of Jehu and his men. And here's how they tell the story. When King Ahaziah of Judah saw this, namely Jehu killing Joram, he fled in the direction of Beit Hagan. Jehu pursued him, saying, "Shoot him also." And they shot him in the chariot at the ascent to Gur, which is by Ebleam. Then he fled to Megiddo and died there. His officers carried him in a chariot to Jerusalem and buried him in his tomb with his ancestors in the city of David. So according to this account, Ahaziah sees Jehu kill Joram and runs. Jehu commands his men to shoot him in the chariot, which they do, and Ahaziah flees on to Megiddo and dies there. Ahaziah's own men then take Ahaziah's body to Jerusalem, and they bury him in the city of David. Now let's look at the account as found in 2 Chronicles 22, verse 9. He, this is Jehu, searched for Ahaziah, who was captured while hiding in Samaria, and was brought to Jehu and put to death. They buried him, for they said, "He is the grandson of Jehoshaphat, who sought the Lord with all his heart, and the house of Ahaziah had no one able to rule the kingdom." So according to this account, Jehu kills Joram and then seeks out Ahaziah, who has fled to Samaria to hide. Now, the translation here, which is the New Revised Standard Version's updated edition, doesn't make it clear, but it actually says they captured him while hiding in Samaria. They brought him to Jehu. They put him to death. They buried him. So the they there is Jehu's men. And so according to this account, Ahaziah doesn't flee to Megiddo. Ahaziah flees to Samaria. And then Jehu's men bring him to Jehu and they kill him. And then Jehu's men bury him. And it even gives an explanation for why Ahaziah's enemies would do him the honor of burying him. It's because they recognized that he was a descendant of a righteous king. So these two stories very clearly contradict each other. Can we be certain that they can be harmonized? No. Is it probable that they can be harmonized? No. Is it plausible that they can be harmonized? No. Is it possible? If we're talking about Russell's teapot level of possible, sure, absolutely. And this is the apologetic approach. It is to demand all the space necessary to conjure up whatever scenarios are needed that are not in evidence in order to connect these two dots. And as long as those scenarios are not physically impossible, then the claim is that it is not technically a contradiction. So as long as the bar is buried underground, we can walk right over it. And with that standard, that it just has to be possible, there's no such thing as a contradiction. There can't be a contradiction, because we can gin up any number of scenarios that are not in evidence that are physically possible to connect pretty much any two dots. And so Occam's razor, the law of parsimony, just reason tells us that this is a contradiction. But apologists must gin up the tiniest little sliver of not impossible, because their audience is not people who don't believe. Their audience is people who already believe and just want to feel validated in believing, even if they are validated by the tiniest little sliver of it's not impossible.